Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for another review today. This time for another Lord of the Rings adaptation. This time it's for the 1978 movie called Lord of the Rings, made by Ralph Bakshi. So yeah, now this is an adaptation of Tolkien's work, and it was animated in 1978, 1 year after, in my opinion, the very dreadful The Hobbit adaptation by Rankin and Bass. And so yeah, now, while I absolutely hate both The Hobbit and Return of the King by Rankin Bass, the animated films of those books, this movie, however, in my humble opinion, is probably the most decent non-Peter Jackson adaptation of a Tolkien work, in my humble opinion. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect at all, because I've got quite a few issues with it. So yeah, but what do I like about it? So, one thing I will say is, I think it's got an amazing voice cast of great actors. There's two of them I already knew prior to watching the movie, being Sir John Hurt as Aragorn. May Sir John Hurt rest in peace. He did a great job playing Aragorn, even though my favourite Aragorn is still Viggo Mortensen to this day. And also as Legolas, we've got Anthony Daniels. So yeah, C-3PO played an elf in this movie. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? He did a very good job as well as the character. He was very good in the role. And everyone else as well was very good in their roles too. I definitely as well loved William Squire as Gandalf. Because while, you know, Sir Ian McKellen's my favourite Gandalf of all time, my favourite version of Gandalf that is not a Peter Jackson-based version, where it's trying to sound like Ian McKellen, is definitely this version in this movie. I think he was done just right. William Squire's voice was perfect for a role. I definitely as well loved Christopher Guard as Frodo, and the other Hobbits as well. I also like David Booker as Gimli, Michael Graham Cox as Boromir, Norman Bird as Bilbo, and I definitely as well liked Peter Woodthorpe as Gollum. Like, I think he was slightly better than Brother Theodore in my opinion. And also Philip Stone, who you may know as Captain Bloomberg from the Temple of Doom, the second Indiana Jones movie, appears in this as Theoden, which is pretty cool. I definitely as well really enjoyed Andre Morell, may rest in peace, as Lord Elrond as well. I thought he was really good in the role too. Very good. And another thing that I will say that I do like about this movie is, I think it has much better animation compared to the Rankin Bass animated films, because they used a technique which is called rotoscoping. So if you don't know what it is, it's basically where, it's kind of like similar to motion capture, where they basically filmed like doubles doing a movement through the characters, and then replaced, you know, their faces with the animated character, basically. So I thought that was really good, and it felt really realistic as well, like, because when I first saw the movie, I thought, you know, hold on a second, is it animated or live action? Like, it was hard to tell at first based on the introduction, because you can't see their faces, it's like a red background. But yeah, it was really good animation, so I was very impressed, actually, by this. Like, who'd have thought you could do this back in 1978, it's very impressive. And yeah, and the movie was a financial success as well, but it had mixed reviews from critics, especially fans of the book. Now, I am, of course, a fan of the Lord of the Rings books. I really love them. They're like among my favourite books of all time. And Tolkien is up there in my favourite authors. And so, yeah. And I will say that while I like this movie more than The Hobbit and Return of the King adaptations, which are animated by Rankin Bass, I do have quite a few problems with this movie, so I'm going to explain to you. So, one issue that I've got with this movie is that they'd cut out characters again, and the best example I can name for you is Lady Arwen, because she plays a pivotal role in the book. It's not a big role, it's quite a short but pivotal role, and she has a mission which is to take Frodo to Rivendell when he gets poisoned by the Morgul Blade and starts becoming a wraith. But because she's not there, Frodo has to go to Rivendell all on his own, on the horse, which is strange. Because, you know, how can he ride a horse when he's been stabbed and he's turning into a wraith and he's becoming much more ill and ill? And as a result, instead of it being Arwen, it's Legolas that's got to meet them. So that was very confusing. So yeah, I was very disappointed that Lady Arwen did not appear. And another thing that I did also not like was how Eowyn, who is, you know, who plays a big role in the books, only has like a brief non-speaking cameo appearance in the movie, and that's it. Like, I didn't really like how she was barely in the movie at all, to be honest. Like, I was disappointed that she only has, like, you know, a small cameo and she doesn't talk. And in terms of, you know, other things as well, there is also an error that I noticed with regards to Gimli, because, I mean, while I didn't have a problem with David Brooks' voice at all, and the design for the character, I thought the design was okay for a non-John Rhys Davies version of a character, one thing I noticed was that in several shots, he appeared to be just as tall as the humans. When he's a dwarf, he's meant to be much shorter, which I think was probably a mistake made in the rotoscoping process. Because I think the double for Gimli was way too tall, so yeah, I think they forgot to make him smaller, so yeah. So that confused me. And then, one thing I would agree with critics on with regards to, you know, the movie as a whole, one thing that disappoints me about this movie is that it does not complete the books at all. Instead, guys, it only covers the plot of The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers. It does not cover The Return of the King, which I was disappointed about because, you know, I mean, it's called Lord of the Rings, so why are you going to ignore the third book? You know, the volumes, you know, like, why ignore The Return of the King? Because, I mean, because I bet at the end of this movie, you know, fans are probably wondering, you know, what's going to happen next. So we're never going to know because they did not cover Return of the King. Instead, we had to wait 2 years later for the Rankin Bass adaptation, which, by the way, I did not like, guys. I thought it was terrible. And another thing as well that I did not like, guys, was one character that I think was treated pretty wrongly was definitely Saruman the White. Because the thing is, guys, he's called Saruman the White, but in the movie he's wearing red robes, not white ones. So that really threw me off. Like, what did they do to him? Did they turn into like an evil Father Christmas? What did they do? And now, just so you know, guys, I'm not criticising Fraser Kirk. I think he did a good job voicing Saruman. But I just didn't like how he wasn't wearing white robes. I mean, they should have called him Saruman the Red, basically. So that's why, guys, in terms of, you know, faithfulness to the source material and also in terms of acting as well, you know, I don't think anyone will play Saruman White better than Sir Christopher Lee. May rest in peace. And I'll talk about how much I love him in Saruman when I'm reviewing the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies. So, yeah. And not to mention, guys, when Gandalf meets him in Isengard, you know, they don't even have a fight like in the book or the Fellowship of the Ring movie. Saruman just imprisons him and that's it. Like, they basically, you know, downplayed Gandalf in terms of power, which disappointed me. Like, I did not like that, to be honest. I was very disappointed. Like, I don't know why they had to, you know, do that to Saruman. Not to mention, one thing that also really confused me, guys, is they changed his name several times in the movie and called him Ahriman. They cut out the S from, you know, the first letter of his name. And, like, his name is Saruman. What are you doing? And, like, they're doing it to avoid the confusion between Saruman and Sauron. But don't you get it? Tolkien called him Saruman because it sounds similar to Sauron, and it's going to foreshadow that Saruman turns evil. So you've ruined that whole idea that Tolkien had. So, yeah, I mean, luckily they do call him Saruman sometimes, but, you know, others call him Ahriman. And that threw me off. It really annoyed me. Like, I did not like that one bit. So I think as a whole, Saruman was mistreated in this movie. I felt very sorry for him. So that's why I prefer Christopher Lee's version. But all in all, guys, this movie is okay, you know. It's not as bad as, you know, what people make it out to be. The animation's great. I definitely like the music by Leonard Rosenman as well. He knows as the scorer for Robocop 2 as well. He composed music for this. He did a very good job of it, actually. But, you know, this movie was quite disappointing in terms of what I just mentioned, in terms of, you know, how it cut stuff out from the book. Oh, yeah. In terms of, you know, some characters, one thing that confused me about Bilbo Baggins is when the Hobbits reunite him in Rivendell after, you know, the Ringwraith confrontation, Bilbo's not even aged. He looks exactly the same as he did when, you know, he left Hobbiton. So, like, what happened to Bilbo? Why hasn't he got older? Because he's lost the ring and now he can start getting older again. Because the ring slowed down his aging and now he can get older. But somehow, some way, he looks exactly the same. But all in all, it was an okay film. I don't think it's bad. I think it's okay. But yeah. Anyway, guys, but if you want to see a bad movie, guys, then stay tuned for next week's review because I'm going to be doing another rant review. This time for the Rankin Bass adaptation of Return of the King, which, by the way, I do not like. So, yeah. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. But anyway, So guys, this is me reviewing the 1978 Lord of the Rings movie. So you know drill guys, be sure to give this video a like. Also be sure to comment comments what you guys think of this movie you've seen. I'd love to hear what you think of it. Also be sure to join Team Prime and subscribe more in the future, and fly you fools.